are now tuned in to the news you can use as a special celebration to my mother. I want to wish her a happy 62nd birthday on the day of March 27th, 1962, the day my mother was born. We're going to do a great celebration. I want everybody to watch, tune in. If you're watching this right now, make sure to jump in the comments and wish her a happy birthday. Mom, say what's up to the people.
Hello. And thank you for joining us.
Yeah. So we're going to play her favorite song, No Rhyme, No Reason by George Duke. We're going to play a lot of music. We're going to talk. We're just chilling, hanging out. We're going to do the barbecue for her and everything tomorrow. A celebration. So I'll make sure I record that. Let's go. Y'all know nothing about this.
After there's someone here, by heat wave, ain't no half stepping.
Ain't no half stepping. Okay, by the heat wave. All right, so Mom, where did this song stem from? Because Mom just dropped a little jewel on me and said Pops used to be singing this to her. So, first time hearing this song, where were you at?
I was in Compton, California.
Compton, California. Okay, where were you at? A party, hanging out, or it came on the radio?
Actually, it came on the radio, and then I heard it at the Carolina West one time.
Okay.
In Inglewood, that we used to. It's a club we used to go to every weekend, actually.
So, what is the memory attached to this song? Because you know, songs have memory capsules.
The memory is, he had a wife at home.
Oh.
So that was to the other women that trying to get at my handsome husband.
Okay, so she said, I call up Jay, I'm trying to get with my man. I heard that, Mom.
I was his wife.
Right.
He had a wife at home. That's what it's about.
That's what it's about. No Rhyme, No Reason by George Duke. Y'all go check that out, especially if you got a wife and you want to sit there and vibe with him and let her know you just for her. You know what I'm saying? So Pops will play this to let you know, I got a wife. I'm just, okay. Pops, you was a smooth operator. We're going to have to pick Pops up later on the day. Hang out with his wife. Music is a big part of this family, so
Yep.
Especially that piano. gonna get into it a little bit. People with moms, and she gonna let y'all know where you from. Moms is one of my favorite people. Like I don't know how y'all bonds is with y'all mom, but my mom is one of my favorite people. Favorite person to hang around. She tell me the best stories. You know, she loves music. We got a lot in common. We so much alike. Sometimes we clash. You know what I'm saying? But I love her to death. So, Mom, I want you to tell the people about where you grew up and your upbringing. Just, as far as you grew up.
Well, I grew up in Compton, and I went to Longfellow. I went to Walton. I graduated from Compton High, which I graduated with a 3.8, but there might have been a 3.5 somewhere else. You know, back in them days, you can walk around with a joint. You can smoke a cigarette, just not in the classroom. We had no filters, you know, and some of the people and kids were taking over classrooms and stuff. And every now and then, when I draw a picture when I was in art, I put my own picture on there, put an A plus. You know, I did a little something. But it.
Tell it.
And it was some great teachers and stuff. We had modeling classes and stuff like that. Compton High was a really great school to go to. I had a lot of fun. And we had this part of Compton High that was called the Senior Square. If you wasn't a senior, you get beat up for being there. You was in the 10th or 11th grade. And a lot of times we had to stop it. It was when we was 12th grade. Like, leave them alone. Leave them alone. I'm going to hang out. That's their brother. That's their cousin. You know, so we squashed that. Just because you're not a senior, you can still hang out here. So that's what we did as senior before we left high school. Okay. But years before that, kids got beat up a lot of times just for hanging in that part that was for seniors. That's what I remember. And not only that, Compton High Tar Bays was one of the best football teams in the state. It was sold out. If you didn't get there early and get your ticket to get in or bought it ahead of time, you couldn't get in. And they went against Centennial. They went against Dominguez High School. Compton High was off the hook.
Let me look it up. What year was that, Mom? Compton High football games. I want to show y'all where my mom grew up at and what high school she went to in Compton. There's a lot of people, this is history.
Yeah, the Compton Tar Bays. And their nemesis was Centennial and Dominguez High.
So you're going to say 1960?
Not 19.
75?
No. 1977.
77. We're going to look up some of their games.
And the last year down there that they was winning a lot, I think it was 1980.
See, they got something from 2005. 1970. I don't know if I got 2008.
Look up 1980.
Let's get to 80. Because they might have not been filming it by then.
Yeah.
What I wanted to tell you, what did you think about when they took all these different classes? Y'all had wood shop, modeling, sewing.
Yeah.
All this stuff you use your hands. Just in case you wasn't going to be a rocket scientist or something like that. They gave you options to trades that you could learn. Why did they take them out? Who idea was it to take this out of the school system?
Well, I think it was just because they wanted to cut in budgets, and the teachers that were teaching kids how to do woodwork and other things like that, they just got rid of it because they wanted to cut budgets and keep more money for themselves.
That's crazy.
Because actually in the inner city, them schools get the most money because they need it the most.
Right.
The libraries ain't got the up-to-date books and stuff like that. But I think the money was misused.
They misused the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm sure it was some type of scandal going on with that. Because
they got the most money, the most grants. The inner city school,
And the schools, they're not nothing like they was when you went to school. And they definitely ain't like it was when I went to school.
When I went to school, our food was cooked. They'll come in 8 o'clock in the morning, and at noontime, everything was like home cooked food.
Right.
It wasn't nothing microwave. Microwaves weren't even out, so they had to cook it.
Yeah.
And it was some good food.
Good food.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think technology is a hindrance towards learning, or is it something great? Because during the pandemic, they gave all the kids computers, and I didn't see no kids doing no homework or learning anything. But back in y'all day, during them times, kids would have to read a book.
Yeah.
And ain't no book. Like, you look around people's houses, you go to the house, you don't see books. So, do you think the system of learning back in the 70s was better than it is now in the 2024, even though we got all this technology, but they don't teach you how to write cursive, you don't use a pen in class?
Of course it was way better back then. But one thing, these kids now, they're so into just being on the internet and doing things that they don't take time and go outside and play. They play on the computer and stuff. We went outside every single day. We was outside playing with our friends and being more social.
I watch
Their
kids.
social now is online friends. That's crazy. You don't even know that person. You don't even know if you 8 years old. You don't know that person is 24 years old. And they playing like a kid. But that's my friend. Pay attention what your kids is doing online. That's all I got to say.
Yes, you're right about that. You're completely right about that. And the racism. I play video games with little 8-year-old white kids on there calling black kids niggers.
That happens.
And who wants to deal with that? But it happens. But all right, the 80s. So you graduate Compton High. What is next for Lisa?
Got married.
Soon
Didn't have
after?
no children though.
Did you get married soon after high school?
No, I didn't.
So come on.
Well, at that time, I was working. I had a job.
Okay.
I worked for a while. Me and my best friends, it was 3 of us, Anna and Mel. We always hung together. And I had a brand new Trans Am back in the day. It was off the hook. And we used to travel around and go to parties and just had a lot of fun. We just really social people. None of us had children.
And what was Compton like? Describe Compton in the 70s and 80s.
Well, when I grew up, I lived on 165 and 166 and other streets, Northwood. They would get together and have football in the middle of the street in front of my house. So they played football one street against the next street. So it was fun to watch. I wouldn't be outside, but I would watch out my window. The guys would get together and play football in the middle of the street all the time.
So would you say in the early 70s and early 80s it was safe in Compton?
To a certain extent to where we live, but it was so much going on in our neighborhood. When the king of the Crips lived across the street from me. And y'all know Keely Welch. And it was a lot going on. It was kind of scary. There was shootouts and stuff that happened.
So did you get to know Kenny Welch personally? Was he like, cool guy in the neighborhood? Or?
I seen Kenny Welch about 5 years ago at my sister's house. And his mother used to babysit me, so off and on when I was real little while my mama worked. So I knew them, and they always knew me all through the years.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So your block, 165, what was it like growing up as a kid?
Well, what made it so famous that it was one of the first streets that sold shirt. And it would be like 90 cars all around back to Central just to get what they had was selling across the street. They were just in the middle of the street selling it car by car. So
Sherm is an LA term, a Compton term. PCP would be the regular term. But this is the story. I want to give y'all the history of the city of where I come from And my mom can explain it to a T because she has photographic memory. She remembered times at the Century Club. She know what clubs was popping. She know what was going on, who was who, and what was what. So she gonna break it down. So
I got one more thing to say.
let's go. I'm gonna keep. I got.
Well, the reason why our neighborhood was called Nutty Block, that's because so many people flipped all
Off
over
that
the
shine.
curb and walking, running down the street.
Butt naked. That's what they called it, butt naked back then.
You know, and that was kind of sad to me, you know. But it was so popular. It was one of the main streets in Compton, ahead of everybody selling PCP. And I didn't like it because I didn't want to come out the house too much. But people lined up around the block and in their cars, just passing by one, getting it from people.
Right. So it was some legendary figures over there on your block. Speak on the people that you grew up with on that block on 165, because 165 is where Nutty Block started, right? Is that the block?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The block. That's why they called it Nutty Block, because they was one of the first streets in Los Angeles, period, to start a PCP. So they called it Nutty Block. And some people, once they bought it, and before they got too far out the neighborhood, too high to go home. So they come back and run. They ain't in the car, but they running back and loud. Like, didn't I just see that person in the car? Why ain't in
down
the
the street
car?
butt naked? In
Where
the
they
car,
car at? That ain't funny.
It's hilarious though. These stories have to
That's
be
why
told.
they got it Nutty Block.
Oh man!
People, before they left out the hood, and they started smoking it in their car, they wasn't gonna leave for a while.
So the neighborhood expanded from that street, and
Yeah,
that's how it took over the big area that it took over.
yeah, it took over. It
The
went from
everything.
Central to Wilmington, and from Alondra to Greenleaf.
Yep. So yeah, so who, like the low riding scene? When I was a kid growing up over there, I would see Cliff with his low riders and their friends riding down the street. I know when you were young, it was real popular.
Yeah.
What was the low riding scene like in Compton and on your block?
Well, you know, I used to, when I was about 17, 18 years old, I had a low rider boyfriend, and he had his clique of friends. And we used to roll around in Chevys, 66 Chevys, 67 Chevys. And then when I turned about 20, I met this guy from the rolling 60s in LA. And he and his crew, which was about 9 or 10 cars, just come pick up me and my girls on Nutty Block. And then eventually he stopped coming around. And I called him like, why you didn't come around? He said, man, them niggas over there on your street, they see us again, they're going to kill us all. I said, well, why you didn't tell me? Who said it? He said, well, I don't know who he was, who they was, but they blocked us with some guns and told us if we come back on Nutty Block, they killing us all. So we stopped dating.
Damn. So it was that bad on that. They said, y'all ain't coming over and picking our girls. You to this day, you don't know who said it. Y'all ain't coming up picking up no more girls on this block.
And they was from the rolling 60s in LA, South Central LA.
Okay. I said that's one of the back in the day stories about low riding on my block.
I ran into, he was the head of the Crips of the rolling 60s. And you know what? To this day, he's a preacher, so he changed his life. He was cool. I ran across him maybe about 20 years ago, and I was just shocked to see him. But we had a lot of memories. And one last time, though, even after they warned him, we went to a party in a whole nother neighborhood, and they had all they badass low riders bringing me and my girls up. And we went into the party, and they told them, if we see you again, you are going to get killed. So after that, that's what really squashed it. He said
is
two
that
times.
The stigma of Compton, though? Was Compton that dangerous? Because I know people.
They didn't want nobody.
Cities.
They didn't care about nobody from South Central LA. Each neighborhood. Matter of fact,
was it like that?
Matter of fact, in Compton, We had Nutty Block, Lantana Crips, Fruit Town. No, they didn't even like each other.
So if you was from another city, you couldn't come from Compton.
Oh, hell no.
Long Beach, any of them, they come around, it's a problem. So that's what it stemmed from the original.
And actually, it was all over drugs and women.
You don't come over here picking up our girls, and don't come over here selling no drugs in our territory. Okay. So it wasn't a personal thing. It was just, y'all can't step on our toe. We ain't going to y'all city and doing it. Don't come over here and do it.
But me and my girl, we didn't want to mess with nobody in the neighborhood.
Compton,
we wanted
right.
the other guys, and we already grew up with them. We didn't like them like that.
To the
but
world,
we
you know,
to
Compton
bring
is
other
huge.
people. You know, we liked the other guys.
Mom, explain how big Compton is in a walking radius.
In a walking radius. Well, I don't. Me and Cynthia and Mark one time
walk through the whole city.
Look for your daddy.
But it's that small to where you actually can. Your feet might be hurting. It might take a couple hours.
Well, I think in a radius, I would say from south to north, 7 miles, and from east to west, 5.
Right. Driving up Wilmington from Carson to LA, Watts, is probably a 5-10 minute drive. Walking would be a couple hours, but it's a walking distance. It's a city you can walk through. People walk through, like you seeing somebody.
Yeah, but nobody walks around.
Not unless you're good.
Watching.
Unless you're good, because you got to walk through a lot of areas.
Mm-hmm. Especially being a guy, the girls is usually okay.
You got to know how to maneuver. If you from Compton, you know which streets to walk down, which streets not.
Right.
You know to stay on the main street though. You don't walk down no back streets.
Oh no.
No alleys and no back streets. That's the worst thing.
You gotta go down the main street so somebody can see what's happening. Yeah.
And most likely you just pray nobody pull over and say nothing to you.
Mess up your computer.
Yeah. But
get you a little something.
Would you change it if you could, or would you
Well, I had so much fun growing up in Compton. I tell you what, we used to go to house parties. They would be off the hook. You know.
Tell them about the house parties, man, back in the 70s. Was they wearing afros? Tell them how people was dressed.
Well.
It set the vibe. Were they using record players then?
Record players. It was a DJ. Would play the records and stuff. You know, the Isley was out. Maze was out. Parliament. And a whole bunch of others. And we just had fun. Johnny Taylor, just all kind of music. It was just so much fun. And I can remember one time, I don't know, this just came to mind. Compton had a movie theater.
Used to have a movie theater.
Yeah.
I had a skating ring too.
Yeah. We used to go to the movies, the outdoor movies.
In Compton.
In Compton, off of Rosecrans. So what we used to do.
Oh shit! Tell the story, Mom.
All right, I really shouldn't, but I'm gonna. All right, we had a friend. Her mama had a station wagon. So all of us would get in the station wagon. To be about 15 of us, because station wagon used back then hold a lot of people.
Yeah, big old station wagon.
So 14 of us would get out. No, about 13 of us would get out and leave 2 in the station wagon. So they go pay. And the part where you're supposed to come out of the theater at, we all ran
and jump in the car.
And jump back in the car to watch the movies. And back then, they were playing like Shap out of Africa and stuff like that. We used to go see the Shap. Yeah.
What was
it? We didn't have enough money to get in there. They would count each head and stuff. It was just too many of us. We didn't have no money to be paying for that.
What was the riots?
We wanted money for our popcorn.
How old were you when the riots kicked off?
The Watts riots?
Mm-hmm.
Or the last one?
LA and Watts.
The Watts one, I was a baby. I don't remember that one.
Okay.
But when Rodney King won, oh my God. It's hard to explain. Let me try and think.
We got time, Mom.
I know, but I'm going to talk about it though. Man, I was in West LA. My brother had a shop and I was working there as a secretary. And we were just sitting there doing our thing and the TV was on. and they say it's a riot after the Rodney King verdict came out, and the police was acquitted. Oh my God, we was near Slauson. That's where it started at. My brother, we looked at each other like, I think we better get out of here, and we did. And we found out later on, within 2 or 3 hours, everything around where he had his business at was burning down, because they're burning down white businesses. They're burning down the strip malls. People was looting everywhere. And I made it home. And my family was safe. We weren't having it in Compton, at our house and stuff. But so many people. So many people was calling me, come pick them up. Oh, we just raided this furniture store. You need a couch? You need a... I'm like, oh my God, what you talking about? And then I was driving down the street. They was looting all the liquor stores and diapers and everything was just outside the liquor store. And this guy ran up to me and handed me a whole case of beer. And I'm like, you want some beer? I'm like, yeah. Because I was just sitting there. I was stunned. But in the end, a lot of people gave me a lot of stuff. And I had babies back then. All the babies' blankets smelled like fire smoke out the strip mall. And people gave me so much liquor. And I was just leaving and going places and just collecting stuff. Leroy and Raymond, I had some of the, they sat there 2 days drinking up all my whole liquor. But I didn't mind. But I had got so much stuff. I didn't go in there and steal anything. But people gave me stuff and everything smelled
like fire.
Fire. It was fires everywhere. It's some of the stores to this day that never ever opened again. The whole parking lot was as big as something would have like a Winco. It's still empty to this day.
Yeah. That's how bad it was.
It was bad. It was fire. I felt heat driving down the street. The police sat there, didn't do nothing. People were running with all kind of clothes, all kind of people had their trucks with all kind of furniture. The police just sat there and looked. They didn't touch nobody. They were just looking. It just didn't.
There wasn't nothing they could do.
I guess not. But everything I got, people gave to me. My food smelled like
nothing but smoke.
The baby, they wasn't even burnt or none. The diapers weren't burnt or none. They just smelled like smoke.
That's how bad it was. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay, so JFK assassination. How old were you?
Oh, that was before my time.
Okay, you weren't around about that.
No.
So Martin Luther King. I
don't remember him. I was about like 6 or 7.
So I was too early in the game.
Only things I can remember is all of them was in the 60s, but I only can remember things from like mainly the 80s and the late 70s because I was a teenager even in the 70s.
All right, let's talk about the big one.
What?
The O.J. Simpson case.
He killed that bitch.
I don't believe that. Look, let me tell you my story. I believe Nicole owed the Colombians so much money from all that cocaine they were doing, and he stopped paying her tab. They came and knocked her off.
Oh, wow.
They cut her throat and pulled it out through her tongue. It's called a Colombian necktie. You think he did that? I don't think he's capable of that. He wouldn't be free if he did. If he really did it, he wouldn't be free. But I feel like people held him responsible because maybe he the one introduced her to the cocaine. She's a white girl. She's like,
well, I saw OJ.
Okay, tell your OJ story.
And my sister seen OJ.
Mm-hmm.
They seen him first. My sisters, very beautiful when they were young and stuff. They got invited by a friend of OJ's on a yacht, and they went sailing around Venice Beach and Santa Barbara and all that. And they said they had a great time. They said he was cool and stuff. And then when one of my sisters got ready to leave, the other sister said, no, I ain't going nowhere. Anyway, that was the story about that. I don't know what it is. But my story with OJ is that when he was running from the police, he came down the 91 freeway
Okay.
off of Wilmington. And I saw it on the news. They was heading our way, and I couldn't wait to get in my car and go up there. So I went up there, and I stood over the overpass and watched him pass by in the white Bronco with his friend. I saw it.
That was huge.
Yeah, I saw it in person.
So what do you think about this P. Diddy stuff? Do you think this is going to be bigger than the OJ case? Because he didn't jump in the plane, and nobody even know where P. Diddy at.
Some reason, I just think they're just trying to frame this guy.
I do too. Do you feel like we should be tearing our black moguls down?
Something ain't right in the middle.
I just want to say this, Mom. If he rich and he want to have freak off parties with grown people, that's none of our business. If it's men or women, it's really not none of our business. Even if it's prostitutes, it's still none of our business.
Right.
Right?
Right.
The only thing that the trafficking and all that, I think that's just an add-on to, like, maybe he paid somebody to get on a plane and come visit him, if you want to call that trafficking. But if he wasn't physically with the person, I don't really get all the extraness. The things that got me is the murders, the bodies. It's a lot of bodies.
That Diddy did?
I'm not saying he did it. It's not
alleged.
Just like people around him. A lot of people, you know.
Well, I don't know.
When you start running through that list. But what about Disney? Do you feel like the people at Disney should be at fault for what they've done?
What did they do?
All them little boys that's crazy and acting stupid and been coming out saying they done been molested and stuff by these producers and stuff.
Oh, the Disney kids.
The Disney.
Well, they only almost
and the Nickelodeon ones too.
Yeah, almost all the children.
Oh, they all crazy.
All of them, they're bitches.
Screwed.
Well, that's the parents' fault because they kind of knew.
Well, why do you think that they go against our black moguls, but they don't go up against the white ones?
Because white people think they rule the world.
Some of these
and they feel they're above us. Always have. We had y'all as slaves. We still have you as slaves, but just in a different way. That's the way they think.
That's the way.
Some of them.
And these are the Jewish ones who. But as growing up in Compton, didn't everybody already back then knew that Hollywood was Hollyweird? Did y'all call it Hollyweird back then?
Not really. We was watching the Jeffersons and all these other black TV shows back then. No.
Y'all never used to hear nothing?
No, because nobody talked about it. Unless it was in the Inquirer about somebody saying stuff, you just didn't know.
When did it start? When did the rumors start hitting? Because by the time I was growing up in Compton, we already hearing Hollyweird. And people would say stuff, but they would, and we knew it was a little different. It was like homeless
because nobody got in trouble back there. Look how long it took for people to start getting in trouble for their actions now. Back then, nobody got in trouble for what they did. There's so much. You see P. Diddy and Bill Cosby. Was the only ones that got caught up
compared to what motherfuckers really was doing, right? Throwing bodies in the trunk. And this, we so desensitized where we from. We don't look at things like everybody else do. The world right now is super sensitive. They look at things like, oh, wow, this happened. No, we know somebody who was doing that shit across the street.
Right.
So it wasn't like pimping and hoeing and all this shit is new to us. We know that. We know it's the game, the drug game. We know somebody on both sides of it. So I don't look at it as like, I'm not biased about it. I'm not judging anybody. But the information, what bothers me is he's used his job to do it. It ain't like he did it on the strip to just him. You're using your job. A person like me who wants a record deal might, at a time, would have met a P. Diddy and been like, oh, That's
what happened to a whole lot of them because they made them go to these things and drug them with their drinks and stuff.
Now I gotta come home and tell my mama what happened.
You might not even know what happened because they done drugged you and videotaped you doing
of it
later on. So you play by my rules.
When it's time to, when he tell you to do something, you don't do it. Oh, you don't do what I said? Hold on, let me put this tape on. Boop. This is you.
That's fucked up. This been going on a long time. Even little Clive Davis. I'm surprised they ain't come after his old
because he
wrinkle up, shriveled up ass. Looked like a goddamn demon with beady eyes.
All of them, Jimmy Iovine, name them, shit.
Mm-hmm. Even the one we just listened to.
Quincy Jones.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The leader of the shit. But they always use a black person, a black face, to do their dirty work.
But you know what? I bet he's shaking in his bones. They all shaking.
They all shaking watching.
They don't know who they coming after next.
They don't know who's coming next.
Because it's gonna be somebody next.
It's gonna be a lot.
Yeah. Because
Diddy about to tell on everybody. If he
Diddy gonna scream like a little bitch.
Diddy give me that energy. It's like, if I go down, don't go down. He give me that. And I believe when he disappeared, he might not even be alive right now.
Yeah, but they ain't killed him already.
I was like, they gonna knock him off. Like
the ones that know that he know the truth. Because they had the prince, they had a picture here with the prince too.
Just like Epstein. Saying he was aligned with Epstein. They always
I don't think Epstein killed himself. I think Epstein
they knocked him off. They had to. He was gonna do the same thing Diddy gonna do. He was gonna sing. He had all them videos and shit left probably just for them to find it. Oh, y'all want to expose me? I'm gonna leave everything to expose you. I'm gonna leave all the videotapes of presidents, CEOs doing all this kind of shit for y'all to find without my face on none of it. Then he had cameras all over his house. He was blackmailing the shit out the industry.
And what make it so bad? What is that preacher that
T.D. Jakes? Somebody just was telling a story how they went to T.D. Jakes' house and he had some people standing up there guarding his house with guns and shit. They didn't know they was going to a preacher's house. He lived in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, he's shaking in his boots.
It's a mafia. It's a mafia. And if you look at the way the music industry is and the way the world is,
I wouldn't even want my child or
these
anybody.
Little teenage girls and shit is out here in relationships right now. These little elementary kids think they like each other. Look at the world, the way that everything is lined up to be. It's for a reason, and it's made a reason, and all this got something to do with it. It's all connected. It's all the boys is killing each other. The girls is in relationships with each other. Ain't nobody having no kids. Everybody's dying.
Well.
Genocide.
Well.
Population control. Remember, Mom, we used to talk about population. See, my mom is not one of those people who's like she'll be biased to something until she get the right information. Like me and her go back and forth about anything, the Bible, anything. But then she'll get some information, come back and be like, you know what, you was right. I'm sorry. It's hard to believe because the internet has gave us an opportunity to be able to give us the research, so we don't gotta believe what people. Here you go. This is a cup. We don't gotta believe that. This could be a ant house. We could catch a bug. Me and Mom, we think out the box. We look at something like a cup and say, we turn that thing into a doorbell. Because now when we
go places and somebody had us a drink, we didn't see a pour. We
not drinking. So look, she starts. You feel me? That's
why. One time we gonna look at it anyway. Maybe don't drink it regardless.
She already skeptical.
I didn't hear the
Mom, skeptical.
I didn't hear the top pop.
Mom, being skeptical makes it not hard to not believe some of this stuff. So it'd be like, well, I know somebody like that. We all know somebody like these people. Tell them about the story about the Grand Creeper, the guy that was killing everybody in L.A. You met.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was about a teenager. We used to go down there they used to have a bunch of different theaters downtown LA. We used to go see Bruce Lee. And at that time, we knew it was somebody around like that. But we just happened to be walking past an alley and stuff. This dude looked just so creepy. He had a long black jacket on. He had a black hat on. He had black pants on. He just gave us this look and just started walking real fast. And I said to myself, that's him. I didn't say that out loud, but I was like, that's him.
In your mind, huh?
Yeah. He was killing people. He just had this look that was so evil.
And,
I just say, I don't know. That's just, that was just I thought at the time.
So I gotta get Sherry on here because Sherry met him and got in the car with him and went to his house, had to fight her way up out of there.
Wow.
Told us a whole story about how she met the guy, the Grand Sleeper. He finally got caught in L.A., about 5 years ago?
I don't know.
He killed about 200 women or something like that. He hated women that were on drugs or something like that, so he would lure them with drugs. And once he lure them in, take them to the house and kill them. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm done. I want to enjoy the rest of my birthday. I ain't going to the dark place.
No, we're going to keep going up. So,
no, I'm done.
Mom says we're going to do a part 2. We did about 41 minutes. I want everybody to jump in the comments and tell Moms a happy birthday. She gave y'all a little bit about Compton, a little bit about herself. This is just part 1. I'm going to get a part 2, part 3, part 4 later on in life. Because Mom definitely want to get her story out. She has a beautiful story. And I think it should be told. And she loves to tell me all her stories and tell me all the old days and stuff. So I'm just like, let her get some of that off. Not the bad stuff, not the darkness, just the fun, the Century Club. Before we go, Mom, give them a story about your first time at the Century Club.
Oh, yeah. It was called the Carolina West in Inglewood. We used to go out there. It was popping on the weekend. Sometimes, people got picked for Soul Train. It was people hunting for people to be on Soul Train, depending on how you dance and stuff sometimes, So me and my husband used to go there. We get there, we dance with each other. Then we go on. It had like 3 or 4 parts to it. And we'll go our separate ways. He go dance with who he want to dance with. I'll go dance with who I want to dance with. But before we left with each other.
Hey,
we just had fun. We're no mad. I wasn't watching who we danced with. We weren't watching who I was dancing with.
And on y'all way home, did y'all listen to this song? This is the news you can use. It's my mom's birthday. I wanted to do something special with her on the podcast. She didn't want to be on camera this time. But we're going to get her right. And she's going to be on tomorrow. We're going to get a barbecue. And maybe we'll jump on later if she want to talk about some subjects. But we out.